Hi there, my name's Tom Horton. I'm a professional organist and welcome to my YouTube channel, Keyboard Skills Pro. For many years, I've played concerts for the various electronic organ societies in the UK, and I've also had the great privilege of playing in the United States as well. During those years, I also had the tremendous honour of being able to play many of the UK theatre organ installations. And today, I'm doing a new series of videos on my YouTube channel, How to Play the Theatre Organ. So if you'd like to learn more, perhaps you're more interested in getting some more information on how to play these wonderful vintage instruments, come over the keys of this vintage 1926 Wurlitzer cinema organ and I'll show you some ideas of how it's done. Come over the keys, let's play a theatre organ. So what is a cinema organ? A cinema organ is a pipe organ. It's not that dissimilar to the organs that you find in your local church. But there are some big differences, not only in the way they work, but also in the way they sound. First of all, the cinema organ comes from the era of the 1920s, 30s and 40s. But the actual idea of it came much earlier than that, in the very early part of the 1900s, when an Englishman called Robert Hope Jones conceived an idea of changing the way the keyboards of the organ and the stop controls controlled the pipes in the chamber. And what he basically did, he adapted what was the very early telephone exchange system to control the air going into the pipes. And it's a mixture of wires, electricity, pneumatics, magnets, and lots of other things as well. The wind pressure, the air that blows into the pipes of a cinema organ, tends to be a lot higher than in a traditional pipe organ. And the idea is that it's imitating an orchestra or a band. And that's the reason that it sounds so different to a traditional pipe organ. Over the years, Robert Hope Jones worked sometimes with some of the British organ builders. He also tried to start his own companies, but eventually he had to sell his ideas and his patents to the Wurlitzer company in America. And they saw a market for these orchestral organs as a replacement for the orchestras that were found in movie theatres and cinemas, which were there to accompany the early silent films, as we call them. In addition to lots of orchestral sounds, we also have percussion instruments, we also have drums, cymbals, you name it. We've got lots of really cool sounds to play here. With a cinema organ, we have a set of pipes for each tone colour that we want to hear. Here's a stop that makes the organ sound like a church organ. And here's a set of pipes that imitate the clarinet. We've also got a flute. We've got stops that sound like strings. And the main sound that makes a theatre organ sound the way it does is a special pipe known as the tibia. Which creates a lovely, warm, lush sound. Now we'll talk about the stops and the various controls of the organ in another video. This particular organ is a Wurlitzer, and this one was built in 1926. It has two keyboards and a pedal board, and all the pipes are in two rooms, which we call chambers. And these are controlled with two volume controls that I work with my feet to add volume changes and expression to the organ. The console itself doesn't make any noise. It's used to control all the pipes, but we've got lots of stops that we can put down like this. We've got buttons that we can use to change stops in groups, and lots of other controls as well. Most theatre organs had either 2 or 3 keyboards. The bigger ones had 4 or even 5. If you want to learn more about the cinema organ, more about the workings and how they're designed, visit some of the UK and American theatre organ preservation groups' websites, and you'll find some excellent information there and some of the great work that they do. In America, we've got the American Theatre Organ Society, and they also have a chapter here in the United Kingdom. And in the UK, we have the Theatre Organ Club and the Cinema Organ Society. Take a look at their websites and you'll find some great information. During the 1920s and 1930s, it was popular with the cinema audiences to hear the organ play. In the early days they were used to accompany the silent films. After the talkies came in, it was to entertain the audiences, and many people remember the organs coming up on a lift to the stage during the interval to entertain the audiences with great songs of the day. Some of those organists, many of them in fact became household names. Some famous names include Jesse Crawford, George Wright, Sidney Torch, Quentin MacLean, Sandy McPherson and Reginald Fort, just to name a few. You can find many of these players, the gramophone and LP recordings that they made have been reissued on CD and download. Do take a listen to them to hear the many organs and the many wonderful styles. Probably the most famous UK organist of them all was Reginald Dixon, who played the famous Wurlitzer organ at the Blackpool Tower in Blackpool. Now today many of these organs survive, not so much in cinemas, but there are a few that are still in their homes. The Blackpool Tower we've mentioned, Radio City Music Hall, New York, the Odeon Leicester Square in London, which is a fantastic cinema where they have a wonderful 5-keyboard Compton organ, and the Thursford Collection in Norfolk. And of course this lovely instrument is home at the Cotton Music Collection in Suffolk in the east of England. Now what you have to remember is when you're playing with these organs, they all sound completely differently. So during the next few videos, if you're interested in learning how the organs work and how to play them, keep watching and we'll show you some great more hints and tips. In the meantime, my name's Tom Horton and thanks for watching a video of mine here on Keyboard Skills Pro.